The open forum. Again, we'd like to invite Secretary Siring of the Climate Change Commission, Mayor Paeng Diaz of San Mateo Rizal, and Danilo V. Villas. He's the President of the Philippine League of Local Environment and Natural Resources Officers, and the Department Head of the Environmental Services in Makati. We'd like to invite our speakers for the open forum. And again, for the open forum, we'd like to request for you to state your name, tapos ang inyong organization, at kung sino ang ating speaker that you're addressing your question to.
Search within your heart, oh yeah. I will take my smile. Keep moving till we're there. We can make this world much better. We can do it if we give.
So we can now start the open forum. I'd like to start by asking Mr. Villas. What are the initiatives of the League for the LGUs?
Allow me to stand. Ang magandang hapon po ay sumainyo. Parang wala nang power yung ating audience. Ang magandang hapon po ay sumainyo. Salamat naman po. Siguro nagtataka kayo, ano ginagawa ni Mr. Villas on stage samantalang hindi naman po ako nakapag-share dito. Alam po ninyo, doon po ako nag-share sa kabila with the media. No? So hindi po siguro ninyo narinig ang aking, I'm sure, hindi nyo na ano yung aking presentation. Pero yung grupo po namin is the Philippine League of Local Environment and Natural Resources Officers. Ito po yung organization ng mga municipal, NRO, city environment officers and the provincial environment officers. This was organized in 2009. No? Kaya po kami nag-organize so that we can also help the local government units no, i-prepare ang mga senros, ang mga menros doon po sa mga devolved functions natin. Napakarami po ng mga devolved functions. We're now focusing our efforts on training the local government units yung po sa pagkakandak ng greenhouse gas inventory and accounting. Basic po ito. There is now a new law, yung ating pong Climate Change Act, that requires the local government units to come up with our respective climate change action plans. Ang basic po ay kailangan malaman po muna natin. Kagaya ng sinasabi po ni Secretary Siring kanina, we cannot manage what we cannot measure. So we have to identify the sources of our greenhouse gas emissions, quantify the emissions from specific sources so that we can come up with more responsive policies and mitigation measures. No? Yun po ang basic. So sa ngayon, tinututukan po namin yung pagtulong sa mga local government units, naka-37 na po kami. In fact, last month, nandun po kami sa South Cotabato, tinuturuan po namin yung mga local environment officers po doon sa South Cotabato. Our next training will be in Cebu. So kung meron mga taga Cebu dito, doon po kami mag-train naman ng greenhouse gas inventory and accounting.
Marami pong salamat.
Okay po.
Okay. Okay, we have another question for Mayor Paeng. What are the institutional mechanisms or policies that was put up to ensure the sustainability of local actions?
Yes. First of all, we strengthened the MDRRMO, and as you have seen, we have integrated it with the CLUP so that future actions and future developments would cater to the new CLUP. The problem was, after Ondoy, we had a meeting with my MPDCs and everyone else. Ang napag-usapan po namin doon, hindi na kayang, kasi sabi nga ni Commissioner Siring, di ba? Sabi ni Governor Salceda, if lagi na lang masisira yung bayan, at alam mo naman na handon naman yung binahana, nahandun yung landslide prone, nahandun yung areas na hazards, bakit ka magtatayo ron? O di baguhin mo na antimano and plan better. Plan a better town, plan a better community, plan a better barangay, using the most basic tool that the LGU can really have, which is the CLUP. Actually, mandated naman sa batas yan na all LGUs should have an CLUP working. So, it is the basis of all the permits and all the notices that we issue. So, I think we should revisit yung CLUPs natin. We have to himayin natin, ipatong natin yung hazard maps natin, ipatong natin yung mga observable hazards before 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Siguro dapat i-verify natin so that in the future, we can at least make sure that our town or municipality may survive whatever comes our way. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor. For Secretary Siring, this is a personal question. You mentioned earlier about the hazards of developing in the disaster-prone areas. How about inviting developers as well and educating maybe or reorienting them on the area where the disaster might happen if they plan to develop in that area?
Actually, the Climate Change Week involves 3 summits. Yesterday, we had the Young Youth Empowerment, the use of the social media. These are our future leaders. Today is about local government and what are the tools available, just to show them that lahat naman to nagagawa ng paraan. At tomorrow will be our private sector. We have a partnership with the Philippine Chamber of Commerce to show them also, because kahit sila mismo naghumihingi rin ng mga impormasyon. Dahil sila din nagsasabi at umaamin yung iba na sa kanila na mga bumibili nga naman sila ng lupa for development na hindi rin nila naiisip na pinayagan naman daw sila ng local government magtayo. Binigyan nga naman ng permit, pero hindi naman din nila siguro nakukonsulta yung ibang mga mapa tulad ng mga geohazard, multi-hazard map that could have helped them. Kasi nakikita natin na kahit anong tindi ng engineering mo, kung talagang malambot yung lupa, malambot talaga yung lupa. Kaya maganda po, nagpapasalamat ako kay Mayor na pumunta siya dito. Kasi ang magandang example kay Mayor Diaz, sa Manila, malapit siya sa Manila, pero ang San Mateo, hindi ganun kayaman. Pero napakita niya kung paano niya in just a matter of 4 years, na-reverse yung kanyang risk by simply investing on technology that allowed him to be able to save lives. But at the same time, not only does it save lives, Mayor, pati na rin siguro sa crime, it can also be used. At the same time, yung land use plan na lagi nating sinasabi, yung enhancing ng land use plan nandun na yon. At once you have an enhanced land use plan, pwede mo na itong dalhin pa sa mga ahensya, pati na rin sa private sector, na dito lang ikaw dapat magtayo at ito yung vision. And sabi nga kanina ni Gov. Joey, dapat may foresight. Hindi porket patag, kala mo safe na. So, this is where we are, and I hope ito yung take home from this summit.
Marami pong salamat, Secretary Siring. Now, a question from the audience to our speakers. Yan. Please say your name, tapos yung inyong organization, tapos kung kanino nyo po ina-addressan yung katanungan. Salamat.
Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat. Kay Sir Danny Villas at kay Secretary. Ako po bilang isang mayor na nakatatlong term na, dito po sa ating topic na climate change na kailangan, may bahagi po kami. May pananagutan kami bilang Chief Executive. Pero sa plano po ng CLUP, lahat na under ng technology na yung climate change, paano pong mapatutupad na lagi DILG lahat sinasabi na kaming mga mayor ang may pananagutan sa mga basurahan, sa lahat ng bagay. Pero sa punto po, nakaranasan ko bilang mayor ng bayan ng Hain, na lahat sinunod ko, barangay, plano, CLUP, may budget po ang bayan ng Hain para po sa MRF, sa isang sanitary landfill, pero sa likod po nun, ang problema ko, nakikita ko sa iba na lahat humihingi ng permit sa DAR na pwedeng magtayo ng mga pabahay na hindi naman dapat, nauubos ang lupa, nauubos ang sakahin. Pero yung pong minsan lang na project na makakatulong dapat sa climate change, na magkaroon ng sariling basurahan ng bayan ng Hain, ni-reject po ng DAR. Ang amin pong bayan, mayroon pong luwang na 11,800 na nasasakupang area, pero ni-reject po agricultural land ang bayan ng Hain Nueva Ecija. Pero wala po kaming mapaglagyan at ni-reject ng Department of Agriculture. Na sana po matulungan nyo ang bayan ng Hain na project, inuutos sa mayor. Alam ko ang bawat mayor susunod, pero may punto po na ayaw sundin. At hinihingi ko po ng tulong sa inyo, Secretary Siring, Sir Villas, na kung paano po ang maganda na makasunod po kami sa climate change, local voice, para po dito sa ating gawain ngayong araw nito. Yun po yung katanungan kung paano niyo po kaming matutulungan, bayan ng Hain, may salapi ang Hain na makatulong kami sa climate change, pero ang DAR, ayaw po kaming pagbigyan na minsan lang po nagagawin sa isang bayan.
Maraming salamat po, Mayor, sa na-raise niyong katanungan. I think Hain is also one of the sister local government units of Makati. Ano po? Yung pong inyong katanungan, ako po ay nasa organisasyon ng mga local government units din eh. Kasi ito organization nga po ng inyong Menro, Senro, at saka ng mga Penro po natin. Ang question po ay siguro dapat may parating po natin sa National Solid Waste Management Commission because they're the ones handling the solid waste management concerns. No? Ang maganda lang po nito, last week I attended a meeting with DNR. Meron po silang itinayo ngayon na Environment Compliance Assistance Center. So tinutulungan po ng ECAC, yung Environment Compliance Assistance Center, yung mga local government units kung ano specific concerns nila na gusto nilang matulungan. Halimbawa, for solid waste. No? So may sasagot po doon sa kanila ng mga experts. Kung ang problema is air pollution, doon din po sasagutin. Yung compliance po natin, halimbawa, dapat magkakaroon tayo ng sanitary landfill. No? Kung ang problema ho siguro, yung sa funding, marami pong mga, siguro pwede tayong i-link ng DNR, marami pong mga gustong magpondo sa pagkatayo ng mga landfill. Dito nga lang po sa Metro Manila, ang dami pong lumalapit sa amin, gustong magtayo ng landfill. Pero kami naman po ay walang lugar para pagtayuan ng mga landfill. Siguro yun po ang i-refer naman namin sa inyo. Let me just take this opportunity to thank the USAID, no, yung Sea Energy, kasi sila po ang tumutulong sa amin para i-capacitate yung mga local government units. Pero kung ang problema po ninyo kung paano i-capacitate ang inyong environment office, kami po willing, pwede po kami tawagan, then we will assist you doon po sa para i-capacitate po kayo.
Sir, may budget po kami, approve kami ng ECC, approve kami ng DNR, may lupa ang bayan ng Hain, may pera ang bayan ng Hain, pero under ng DAR, hindi po kami binigyan ng permit na para matupad namin yung pong project na makakatulong kami sa climate change na hindi po kami isa na maging problema pa ang bayan ng Hain. Kaya yun po sana ang mahingi namin ng tulong. Kung po pwede, matulungan po namin kayo. Kami. Hain po kami, ma'am.
Hindi ko alam kung anong rason na hindi kayo pinayagan. Pero ito lang, pag-usapan natin yung Solid Waste Act. It's supposed to address the waste, right?
Yes, ma'am.
But it did not say where you're gonna get the money. Nire-require ang local government to address waste, pero ang lagi lang nakikita natin yung sanitary landfill. Pero yung batas also involves other ways of handling waste. The reason is this: it's so expensive to put up a sanitary landfill. It is good if you have so much waste. If you don't have enough waste to put in your landfill, then you have an investment that might not have a return of investment in so long. So kung titingnan mo siya, kasi ang gusto yata ng batas is to make it market-based. Napag-usapan namin ni Mayor ng San Mateo, sila dahil malapit sa Maynila, maraming waste. Kaya ang itinutulak, tulad ng waste to energy po na nakita natin sa Payatas. Bago ka maging waste to energy, pupunuin mo muna ng basura. So two-way yun. If you had a sanitary landfill, you will charge people for the tracking, you will force people to generate waste so that you have waste in your landfill. On the other hand, meron naman nagtutulak ng zero basura, which is, wag na muna kayo, if you can recycle, don't put it kasi habang hindi ka nagdudumi, walang basura, dahil alam natin ang methane na galing sa basura is 21 times more potent than carbon dioxide. So sa perspective kasi ng climate change, it could be a mitigation reducing greenhouse gas, not on if it is sanitary. Second, if you have a technology to capture the waste and turn it into energy. That's what we saw in Payatas. That's good. But if you are a small town, it would not be practical for be investing so much on a sanitary landfill if your waste is only little. If you are in a rural area, it might be good to do clustering. Pero sino ba sa inyo naman ang gustong mag-host? At kung merong gusto ng host, gusto din ng isa mag-host. So ang tendency, gusto lahat mag-sanitary landfill. Lahat kayo magsasayang ng pera. So iba-iba yung pananaw. Hindi ko alam kung saan nanggagaling ang DAR. Ang DNR kasi feasibility on how it will be maintained. DAR is probably concerned on other mandates. But if it was approved, it was, siguro we could discuss it with DAR, kung tingnan natin kung paano kayo tulungan. Pero yun ho yung mga nuances ng solid waste. Kaya isa yan, nasa undersecretary ako ng DNR, isa yan sa mga tinutulak natin na magkaroon man lang ng percentage na suporta sa mga LGU kung gusto talaga mag-sanitary landfill. Kasi pinapadalhan na kayo ng notices ng ombudsman for failure to follow the law. And yet you don't have the funds to do that. But if you have to look at the law, there are other ways to address waste. It doesn't have to be sanitary landfill lang. Kaya yung mga reduce, reuse, recycle, buying recycled is really intended to reduce the waste. So it's more of the demand side. So sir, baka after dito, pag-usapan natin, tingnan natin paano kayo matulungan.
Yes, ma'am. Napakaganda po. Ma'am, kasi ang punto ko po, ma'am, doon na nagpapatulong ako na magkaroon ng boses. Ang DAR po kasi ang magre-reclassify ng lupa. Agricultural land po kami, sila ayaw pumayag eh. Yun ang punto na problema kung bakit sa DAR. Pero ang bayan po ng Hain, meron po kami 10 tons na problema ng basura sa school, public market, sa mga private. Ang problema ho namin doon, na maiayos namin yung basura namin. Yun nga po ang aming lugar, agriculture, kailangan din ng magsasaka na malibre kami sa mga fertilizer hanggang sa
Alam
huli
niyo
nun.
po ba yung agriculture waste ngayon ay nagagamit na at nabibenta?
Pwede po namin magamit.
Ginagamit na siyang rice husk feed. Ilang kumpanya na ang gumagamit nan. Lalo na sa Nueva Ecija kung saan maraming waste ng palay. Dati yung mga abo na yan, nakakapuwing lang. Ngayon, hinahakot na, ginagamit na parang siyang fuel. So merong waste po. Maraming So sa ngayon, kung gusto nyo talaga yung landfill, pwede naman dahil pananaw nyo yun. Baka lang siguro, may iba pang way na ayaw din kasi ng DAR na maubos yung agricultural land dahil sa sobrang dami ng population nagkakaroon na ng pressure on natural resources.
Lahat po, ma'am, inuutos sa amin bilang mayor. Ma'am, bilang mayor po, inuutos sa amin lahat yan. Na sana sumunod kami lahat. Pero yung pagsunod namin, maraming mayor dyan, 1,500 kami, pero nasa 25% lang. Ang halos na pupursige para po makatulong dyan sa climate change natin.
Sige
Kaya
po.
sana po yun ang hinihingi ko ng katugunan para sa inyo na matulungan po yung bayan na Hain at kami anumang oras, nandini po at susunod kami kung ano po yung pinakamaganda. Salamat po,
Sige po,
sa
sige
naging
po.
resulta.
Sige po.
Maraming salamat din. One more. We have one more question.
One more.
One more quick question. Sige po.
Ayun, two more. Si Governor.
Okay. Two more
Good afternoon,
questions.
ma'am. I'm Eli Ildefonso, the Deputy Executive Director of the National Solid Waste Management Commission. Narinig ko kasi yung binanggit ni Mr. Villa na i-refer sa amin. Pero yung problema ng mayor ng Hain, this is not a question, I just want to respond to the question, ma'am. Dahil hindi naman namin concern kasi they are complying. They're trying to comply with the Republic Act 9003. Ang problema talaga nila yung land conversion. Na dapat sila magpag-usap talaga sa DAR.
Land conversion kasi nasa DAR yun.
Yes, hindi sa amin yun. As far as we are concerned, doon sa Hain, nagko-comply naman sila.
Yan ang very controversial bill ngayon, yung land use bill, ano? Kasi there will be a provision there that will disallow any conversion of agriculture, and any program that will relate to landfill pending now might not be able to get if that land use bill is passed.
Thank you very much. Maraming pong salamat. Our last
Si
question.
Governor Sol.
Governor, apa.
My question is on the use or accessing funds for climate change. In relation to the Regional Development Council efforts on crafting and defining plans, priorities of the region. I sat as chair of the Regional Development Council, pero itong climate change is not seriously discussed in many meetings of the Regional Development Council. Now I learned today that this is even the heart of development in the Philippines. Kasi ang vulnerability, we're second, so there is that high vulnerability position of the Philippines. So sana, request ko lang, that plans being made by the Commission must be really defined well by the NEDA, or how do you work with NEDA as far as climate change, and how do we make this planning work down the level of the regional development councils? And as we plan, budget is available, and this budget is perhaps, or not even perhaps, must be channeled to vulnerable areas that you identify throughout the country. Like 400 million, who will use first? Who will avail of this first? Kasi hindi naman lahat mabigyan ng focus. So I address this to Secretary Lucille.
Okay. Thank you, Gov Sol. She's my mentor. By the way, the reason it's good that Surigao del Norte was picked, because almost always sa atin, we always look for proof of concept. Meron mang hindi naniniwala ng climate change, bahala kayo. Pero ang alam ko, dumadami na ang tubig, nadala ng ulan, at tumitindi na ang hangin. At kung meron man tayong infrastruktura, ay hindi na po kakayanin. We have to show proof of concept, and we started in her province. And since she is the chair of the Regional Development Council of Caraga Region, we wanted to show her town to be the pilot and the model for the region. In fact, the HLURB, because of this initiative, already mainstreaming the guidelines in the regional plan in land use land housing. So sunod na kami na GovSol sa RDC, and we are all really actually working with NEDA. NEDA is working with us. They have several projects of climate change adaptation. We need to do climate change adaptation and disaster risk reduction kasi most of our damages are water-related anyway. So that's what we're doing now. It's good to hear, especially from a governor, and it expands our reach, and we're hoping that Governor Sol can also help us with other RDCs. Dagan salamat na, sir.
Marami pong salamat, Secretary Siring. And to those of you na may mga questions pa, may mga sheets of paper sa inyong mga table. Please write your name at ang inyong email address at of course ang inyong katanungan at sasagutin niya ng Climate Change Commission. So if for your other questions, you can write them on a sheet of paper and write your email address or kung saan nila kayo pwedeng contact so that they can respond to your questions. Maraming salamat. So again, we'd like to thank Secretary Siring of the Climate Change Commission, Mayor Paeng Diaz of San Mateo Rizal, and Mr. Danilo V. Villas, President of the Philippine League of Local Environment and Natural Resources Officers. Maraming pong salamat.
Starts with me. I wanna be whatever it takes to show that I care more than myself.
So again, we'd like to encourage you to ask your questions via the sheets of paper na provided po sa inyong mga lamesa. And Climate Change Commission will be more than willing, more than happy to answer all your questions. Don't forget to put your email address or kung saan nila kayo pwedeng makontact. And our friends from the Climate Change Commission will collect all your sheets of paper at the end of the forum. Okay. So we have more speakers lined up for this afternoon's forum. Our mics are